What is up, you guys? Thank you for coming back for part 2 of my HIV story. I really do appreciate that, Team Salim. I really, really do. I really could, I'm not gonna lie, I really could use you guys. I'm gonna keep it funky. I could really use you guys' support. I really could. Because I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I don't have friends that are HIV positive, or if I do, they're not saying anything. So the most help that I really get as far as being HIV positive is through my counselor. I don't really want to mention his name, but he's a great guy. Zachary Napo, who works at Evergreen. He is one of my counselors, and he's helped me tremendously through this situation. So we'll get back to him later and those people who've inspired and helped me in a second. So let's just get back to this story. Alrighty, so I am currently, picking up where we left off, I am currently in the room for testing with Mr. Moore from Evergreen, and like I said, we had a great conversation. He did his best just to keep my anxiety level down, because like I said, anybody, whether you're negative or positive, when people get that, getting testing for STIs and things like that is scary as fuck. Like, shit, like, who could say it's not? But like I said, for the 20 minutes, he kept me calm as possible. But here's where the story starts to get good. While during testing, for you to get a positive on that test, you needed 2 positive lines. And 15 minutes in, I didn't know how to read it. He was explaining it to me. I didn't know how to read it at the point. I was looking down, and I seen 1 line. And I asked him. I said, "Yo, what is this? What does this 1 line mean?" And with the most serious face that you could ever really get out of anybody or see from anybody, he explained to me. I feel like he kind of knew something already. But moving forward, there was 1 positive line on it. And that's what he had explained to me. And from that moment, my stomach, I think I shit out my stomach. All my organs just came out. That's how fucked up I felt. But he assured me it's just 1 positive line. There is nothing wrong. There is nothing wrong. Nothing to be alarmed about. So I'm like, okay, dude, you just work your magic. Please, just get me a positive. So we're 15 minutes into the testing. The testing is 20 minutes. We got to the end of testing. There's no line. There's no second line. No second positive line, nothing. The test breaks. Completely breaks. So I'm more scared than a motherfucker at this point. I'm not gonna lie with y'all. Like like I said, I already done shit out all my organs at this point, so I ain't had no more to shit out. But but anyways, he assured me that the testing was broken, and which held him up a little bit with asking somebody else if they wanted testing. He looked me dead in my face and he was like, "Is it okay if we test you again just to see if the other test is more accurate?" I looked at him like, "No, I don't want to do this shit, do you think?" But I still decided to, obviously. And me and him were still getting to know each other more and more and more, just shooting the shit. He's doing his best to keep me calm. We're on the second test at this point. I still see that first positive line that I had mentioned to you guys. First positive line. But then when we get to the end of the testing, the second test is broken. Broken. So I really don't know what to think at that point. And we are at this point. We're at March 5th, 2019. And Mr. Moore had assured me and had said to me, he was like, "No need to panic. These tests are broken. I'm going to go back to work, and I'm gonna make sure I pick up some some tests that I'm sure that work or that are 100% accurate. And he assured me that he would come back the next day at 12 a.m. Well, not 12 a.m. What the fuck am I talking about? 12 p.m. 12 noon. So with that being said, I come out. Shit. I still remember coming out of that room. Two tests later, two broken tests later. I still remember coming out of that room already feeling broken. And mind you, I didn't have the HIV diagnosis yet. I didn't. So with that, I feel like there was something inside of me that deeply knew that that was true. So Mr. Moore leaves for the day, and I solely remember talking to the first people I told that this was a possibility, could be true, was big shout outs to these three people. First three people I told was my girl Lisa Frayne, my boy Joey Baggs, and God rest his soul, my brother Ivan, who had recently passed away, and I've spoken to you guys about. But these were the first three people I told. This might be happening. This might be true. Those three are some of the most amazing souls that you can ever meet. Ever meet. Treatment is where I really became brave and felt love and accepted. And I know y'all probably like, how the fuck are you getting this from rehab? But rehab was the best thing that ever happened to me. And anyway, moving on. I told those three, and they did their best to keep me calm, and I felt good for a minute, but I was still broken. This was my life. You get what I mean? This is my life now. This isn't anybody else's life. Nobody's gonna take this HIV negative or HIV positive off me, off my hands, and put it into their hands. It's just not how it works. But after speaking with those three amazing souls, I recall going into the nurse's station in treatment. I had never cried so hard. My knees gave out. I just remember going into the nurse's station in rehab, just a fucking wreck. And one of the nurses, she just did her best. She helped me up from the ground, and she just put her hand on my face, and she was like, I still remember this. So sorry, y'all. I still remember her looking me dead in my eye and saying, no matter what the diagnosis is, you're gonna be okay. At that time, I didn't believe it. I'm thinking bullshit. But my anxiety, and I was so much of a wreck that night before, even the day before even getting my HIV diagnoses, they pretty much drugged me up just to go to sleep because I wasn't sleeping. I was a wreck. I was crying. I wouldn't say they drugged me up, but they helped me get to sleep. They gave me some sleep aids and stuff like that. And I remember praying. This is interesting. I remember praying that night before getting my HIV diagnoses. I remember praying to God. And I said to God specifically and solely, I said, God, if this is real, if this is what's happening, please make me stronger. Please step into my life and please help me. Please help me. And he did, though. which I will be talking more about in part 3. So we're just gonna wrap part 2 up. Like I said, I'm only doing these videos in like 10 minute like in 10-minute bits, because like I said, I don't want to do too much, and I don't want to do extra. You hear my timer? Because you guys know I fucking talk all day. But yeah, we will be getting into more of the story in part 3. I'm not sure how many parts these are going to be, but I'm just going to make sure for you guys that I'm as honest, as educating, as real. All of that as much as possible, as much as I can be